Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. This is episode number 69 today for the Mexican Grand Prix in Season 4. If you guys did miss the previous one uploaded just yesterday, then be sure to go check that one out, because that was an iconic Japanese Grand Prix for many different reasons. One of them being we had a 12th different winner in 12 rounds, which I think now officially breaks the record in Formula 1 for different winners in a season. I don't know if there's another record. I think we've already beaten the record of in a row from the very beginning of the season, but just over a course of a whole calendar season in Formula 1, I think we've now got the record of different winners, even if there weren't any more different winners to come. And spoiler alert, the Japanese Grand Prix, well, it was won by a Japanese driver in a Japanese-powered car. What a scene that was. Yuki Tsunoda became a new winner in Formula 1, and Gasly, his teammate in second place, was leading for most of it, overtaken on the last lap, but it was a 1-2 for AlphaTauri, so that was a big deal for AlphaTauri here, and it means, well, Gasly's second place, whilst myself and Jenson were down in 7th and 6th respectively. It means Gasly, for the first time, takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship by one measly point to myself in second, Button in third, then a couple of points back, and it's all to play for in these last 4 rounds of this season. It is very much crunch time, you would say. 4 rounds, they're all going to be so important, especially because how close this fight has been so far, and the up and down nature of everyone's races, it would seem, track to track. And the Mexican Grand Prix is always a very exciting one indeed on the F1 game. Button 82 focus into these last 4 rounds, so he slipped a little bit because he was over 90 focus at one point, but you can see, looking down the order of the driver grid and their focuses, you can see why certain drivers are doing very well. You know, Bottas over 90 focus in the Williams, currently at the moment in 4th in the championship. Gasly, who leads the way, 95 focus, performing at his absolute best at the moment, you would say, for the Frenchman. And even the reigning world champion Lando NORRIS, still very high focus despite having a bit of a shaky season following his championship win last one. And you can see why Hamilton and drivers like himself are doing so poorly, because he's got such low focus. So the focus really being so important, especially in a season like this where the battle is so tight. The cars are, well, not equal, but they're very equalized track to track, because they're all maxed out pretty much. So the focus is making a big deal. But going into this race weekend, we have some big breaking news about next season.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
So this is massive for next season. I know we have 4 important rounds to go for Season 4, but in the new year, when Season 5 begins, we're going to have a complete regulation change for aerodynamics, chassis, and the powertrain. So all the performance factors of the car are going to be reset. Everyone's going to have to try their best to adapt. Well, it says 63 parts at risk, so I don't even know if we have enough R&D points to adapt everything. I'm kind of hoping not, because I hope that the pecking order can be reset a little bit and can be changed, and the performance of the cars can be lowered a little bit, so we have a bit more room to regrow, if you know what I mean, back to maxed out cars. Obviously, though, you've got to remember that in the game, the lower teams, it's a delayed 1 year before they see the salary, the money they get for finishing where they are. So even though you've got AlphaTauri and Williams high up in the order in the standings this season, they won't receive that money until after the winter period. Obviously, we had AlphaTauri do somewhat well last season, but for Williams, teams like them, I think, I'm a bit worried that they're just going to get nerfed all the way back down to where they were at the bottom of the pecking order. So I don't know. I would say let's all savor these last 4 rounds. Let's savor the fact that we've got, AlphaTauris and Williams at the sharp end, especially, the Williams has been quite a treat to see right up there. Let's savor it, because there's no guarantee what on earth this R&D is going to do for next season. This has already been an iconic season, but it may be a truly different season to one we see next year with this R&D reset. And with that, we go into then the beginning of this fourth final episode this season, the Mexican Grand Prix, and it's showtime for Saturday in qualifying. Looking to get through with just one simple lap, hopefully, in Q1 into Q2, to be honest. The car, the My Team car, has always gone well around Mexico, and I've gone well around Mexico. We've had some really fun races, let alone successful ones, and at the moment, it's a 1-2 in Q1 there, so promising signs. Very 2x2 at the moment, though, with AlphaTauri and Red Bull there. Stern, Gasly, Tsunoda, Schumacher, and then Perez, and then you've got, well, Bottas and P9. I think maybe that's not the true pace, because I was thinking Williams would be quite good around here, because, you know, you've got that long main straight, so let's see what the true pace is going to be like maybe in this second part of qualifying, because Q2 is always the better indicator of what the pecking order is going to be, and obviously we're all fighting very, very closely for that top 10 shootout. So the first lap was okay, but it actually wasn't quick enough. We have to go again. I feel like we may be knocked out if we don't go again, so we're having to burn a whole nother set of tyres, but obviously we made it through into Q2, into this session on one set, so that's going to help us out with the free compounds available to us in Saturday, and that second lap was much, much better from myself and from the likes of Bottas. You can see has gone quickest of all, so that's a bit more like it, what I thought from Williams. His teammate Guan Yu Zhou knocked out, though, in Q1 it was, but Bottas showing how good of a driver he has been on the other side of the garage in that team, up there fastest of all. We're ahead of Gasly. Button lost a bit of pace there, P6 only, and Hamilton was the Mercedes that made it through. Verstappen did not make it through somehow, but Hamilton did, so kudos to him, our fellow Brit. But we've got a very tight fight going on here at the moment in the top 10 shootout. I've set a scrub time, so what I mean by that is I've set a time, a banker time that was on an old set of tyres. That's why I'm 1.5 off the pace. Jenson Button, our teammate, at the moment on provisional pole. Even Gasly didn't have a very good lap time there. He's, you know, a couple of tenths off Button in P7, so myself and Pierre will be looking to try and improve massively on our second run. The difference is my second run, I know, is on a fresh set of tyres. I think Gasly had a new set for that first run, so I don't know what's going on here. The AlphaTauri seemingly not being completely on the pace when it matters here in the last part of qualifying here. Gasly, the championship leader, may be on the back foot. What can we do? Can we get anywhere close to Jenson Button's pole time? We found some good time in Sector 1. We're going to have to find a little bit more, though, into the hairpin. The last sector, we're just about 1 second up, but that won't be enough for pole position. It won't be enough to get us even close to Jenson Button. And through the last corner, we make a mistake, a snap of oversteer, and we catch the car and lose all the hard work we did in the last sector there. We lose the 3 tenths we gained in Sector 3, and in the end, we qualify in P7. Button is on pole position. Surprised to see Leclerc and Norris right up there, but Bottas in P4 showing the Williams has some good pace. Gasly did find some time up into P5, but we've been out-qualified by Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, which usually wouldn't be a surprising thing or something to scoff at, but, you know, with how Hamilton's gone this entire season and since Season 2, that's a, you know, disappointing result for us, to be honest. And like I said, you saw where we made the mistake. That's where we lost all the time. We could have been at least where Gasly was minimum, I would say. So we've got some work to do in making up, because the car clearly has some pace, but like I said at the end of the last episode, Button was looking so quick around Suzuka, scarily quick, and it looks like he's carried that forward into today. Looks like he's pretty determined. Let's go to Sunday and see what we can do from our lucky number 7 grid slot.
Welcome along to the most populous city in North America, and home now to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shortest circuits on the Formula One calendar. So who, I wonder, will the crowd cheer on today to the top step of the podium? We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Jenson Button lines up on pole position. with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Bottas, Pierre Gasly and Hamilton, the owner driver, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher and Sergio Perez, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz and Stroll, Russell, Ocon, and Guan Yu Zhou and Nicholas Latifi, Giovinazzi, Ireland, Matsushita and Christian Lundgaard. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So thankfully there are no grid penalties to talk about with myself, Gasly or Button, and even really the entire top 10, because of course, you know, there's many other drivers still mathematically well within a chance, and you've got to say with how, you know, much of a roller coaster this season has been, even Bottas in the Williams or Verstappen, the McLarens, they're all still in it really, because if they were to pull together a win or, you know, some good podiums whilst myself, Button or Gasly and others floundered, then, you know, you can turn it around. And like I said, we've had 12 different winners. I feel like this is now going to be the race where we get a repeat winner. I could be wrong, because, you know, I don't want to say it, but Hamilton did outqualify Verstappen for the first time here. He made it through. Verstappen got knocked out. Are we about to see some madness where Hamilton comes through to finally win a race again in this season and add to 13 out of 13? I don't know. Maybe wishful thinking, but I feel like there's a strong chance of a repeat winner, and it may be Button. I'm hoping it could be myself, though, from P7. It's our lucky number, like I said. It's a two-stop race, a standard two-stop race, so, you know, I always enjoy those, and I feel like I kind of thrive in those kind of conditions when we know the two-stop is on, and it's a strategy everyone's doing, you know, going a bit early on the pit stop, going aggressive and whatnot, but we're going to have to see how it goes on this opening lap. It's a bit doom and gloom in terms of the weather. Let's hope it's not a sign of things to come for us. Our teammate Jenson Button is on pole position. We're in P7. Gasly 2 places ahead. We go to 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix. 4 rounds to go in this epic season, and Bottas with a great start, 3 abreast between Norris, Bottas and Leclerc. Long run down to turn 1. Will Bottas even have a go at Button? Button goes defensive. Gasly on the outside. We're going to go even further on the outside, trying to avoid any bit of contact. On the inside of us is Schumacher, virtual safety car, and we've actually technically lost the position to Schumacher, so we have to stay behind the German. So we've actually gone down to PA. Hamilton's overtaken Gasly as we look to restart this then. No full safety car. I'm not too sure exactly what this was for, and Tsunoda a little bit cheeky there down my inside, but we're going to be even cheekier and go right round the outside of Schumacher with a lovely little bit of a drifting move, I must say, in the hairpin to get back up into P7, but it's still Button that leads the way then. Some good defensive work from him. Bottas, though, looking rapid. He's up into P2 ahead of Leclerc and Norris there. But we move on then. 5 laps later onto lap number 5. Button still leads. It's all stationary. Nothing much has happened so far in this race. So a bit of a slow burner to begin with. But now things may start kicking off because we've got Norris on Leclerc looking to make it P3 for the McLaren driver. Yes, he has done it. And we're closing up to Gasly, who equally is looking to try and pressurize Hamilton. And all of us really are catching up to Leclerc and Norris, so this could be a fight all the way up to P3 for ourselves from P7. Meanwhile, Bottas continues to keep Button honest, and they're both pulling away slowly. So is this going to be JB versus Bottas the entire race? Maybe. Let's see. But what can we do? Can we try and join that fight eventually? But first and foremost, we have to get past these guys. Gasly, he's looking a bit slow, you know, in the AlphaTauri. Don't know where the race pace is for him from Japan, as we now dive down the inside and make a lovely move into P6, and we're going to continue on and try and stretch our legs and close up to Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, the AlphaTauris, you know, both not looking as quick as they were around Suzuka. Obviously a very different circuit, you know, high altitude, so the air is thinner. It's definitely going to make some cars perform a little bit differently, and you can see Williams is thriving here with Bottas in P2, still well within 1 second, you know, able to open the DRS, and eventually I feel like Bottas may try and move on Button as we now make a move on Hamilton up into P5. Easy does it in a straight straight line. And there we go. Bottas trying a move. Jenson's gone deep. He's made a mistake. And Bottas on the inside. Oh, there's a bit of contact made between the Williams and Button. Bottas, though, into the lead of this Grand Prix. The Finn leads the Mexican Grand Prix. Button down to second. I think there was some contact made, though. Is there any damage for Jenson as we're all closing up now? So I have a bit of a worry for Jenson's sake. He's got some damage there because he's already falling away through that double right-hander versus Valtteri. Lando's closing up in P3. I feel like he may have front wing damage, and this may be an early pit stop for Button. Won't be the end of the world. Lap 8, this is when the pit stop window opens, to be honest, for the first round of pit stop. So Button won't be too penalised, but he's definitely got an issue. Lando on the inside. It's going to hold up the Ferrari. We try and go around the outside of Leclerc at the hairpin. Easy does it through the right-hander up into P4, and I think we're going to see Button peel into the pit lane. Yes, we are. So he's going to change his front wing. Like I said, that's the time he'll lose. In terms of losing time for, an early pit stop, it is the pit stop window. So literally the time he'll lose will just be for the front wing change. So not too bad, to be honest. And now we see a three-wide moment. Look at this. Mercedes v Ferrari v AlphaTauri. Gasly the long way round. Hamilton on the inside. Leclerc sandwiched in the middle. This is epic racing from three really fantastic drivers here around Mexico. And Leclerc will maintain the P4. Gasly looks to overtake Hamilton and squeeze him out into the left-hander. Those two, though, still side by side. Hamilton really fighting for it. For whatever reason, Hamilton looks actually pretty damn decent this race weekend, and he actually re-overtakes the Frenchman to get back up into P5. It was a bit of a slow start to this Grand Prix, but some fantastic battling, and even all the way down to last place. The two Alpines really struggling here. I don't know what's happened. They're fighting for the wooden spoon, and there's been a contact and a lot of carbon fibre out on the outside part of the circuit. Bottas comes through the final bend on his lead lap, and the safety car is now out, and that's horrendous timing. The safety car came out just as I went through the last corner. Leclerc, Hamilton, Gasly, they've all dived in for a pit stop. Is this going to really hurt us? Lando Norris and Bottas. Bottas has actually got ahead of the safety car. The safety car did not pick up Bottas in time, so you have to all go out for another lap. But I don't know what Lando's doing here. He's slowing up, and I'm a bit wary. I've got PTSD from Japan. The safety car gets out of the way. I'm trying to give Lando the hurry up because we both need to get going, because I'm assuming we all want to make a pit stop under the safety car. Doesn't look like it for Lando, though. We come in. Lando and Bottas, they stayed out. I don't know why, because this is the pit stop window, unless they're going to try a very audacious one stop from here on hards. I don't know, but it is the pit stop window. We've come in, and hopefully Gasly, Leclerc and Hamilton haven't gained too much time on us, because they did kind of get almost a free pit stop in a way. But of course, since we're making a pit stop ourselves, we've actually managed to stay ahead of them. So in the grand scheme of things, we're still third place. We're on a set of mediums, and Button, the previous race leader, well, he's about 4 or 5 places back, so he's been really hurt by that early pit stop. So ironically, I said it wasn't going to hurt him because of the safety car. It has hurt him very much so with the free pit stop Gasly, Leclerc and Hamilton got us. We overtake now Russell lap there on the restart. Norris and Bottas, they'll have very worn tyres, so they're going to come in eventually. But at the moment, Gasly is the one attacking me on fresh soft tyres, so he's gone for a very aggressive pit stop then on another set of softs, and he dies down the inside of us at the hairpin, and he's just got so much more grip there. I got caught napping a little bit at the hairpin. He squeezes us out into the final bend, and Gasly's up into P3 then. The soft compound working really well. There goes Norris and Bottas. They're in. Gasly leads. I'm in second now. Schumacher, Button, and then Perez. The two Red Bulls, I don't really know where they are in terms of the synchronization of this race, but all I know is I want to try and re-overtake Gasly. Big dive down the inside there. Very late on the brakes. Narrowly missed making some contact with his side pod, and we're going side by side with the championship leader, the man only 1 point ahead of us here. So 1 and 2 in the championship, fighting here for 1 and 2 in the race. This is blockbuster stuff down the inside. inside. Gasly, though, does so well to keep it going around the outside. He's on the soft compound, remember, so he's got better grip. We've been forced out wide. Schumacher even tries to overtake us here. The mediums, we've chosen them, but they're just not that quick at the moment. You know, eventually we will be on the better race tyre because, you know, history's taught us the medium is the better longevity tyre around here. You know, the softs, they're very quick now, but you got to say eventually Gasly will surely start to feel the tyre wear, but at the moment that is not the case. Lap 19, going for a move with DRS. Oh, Gasly's hit us! Gasly's hit us! He moved left into us! It was a fair and respectable fight up until then, but the pot has boiled over. Gasly's hit us, and now he slows us up into turn 1, and there goes Jenson Button out of nowhere. Button leads the race.
Underbody's taken some damage. You may start to notice it.
Really? Gasly's contact with us has actually caused us floor damage of some kind. He's now side by side with Button for the lead, but let's look at a replay then. And I don't know what came over Pierre Gasly. Like I said, it was a fair, respectable fight. We haven't had an issue with Gasly's AI ever since Season 1, but look at this. In a straight line, he just checks his mirror and then turns directly left into us. And that swipe, that contact, it was enough to apparently damage our side pod or our floor. And so now we've got permanent damage for the rest of this race, and we're feeling it in the second sector. But Gasly's looking quite slow as well. I wonder if he's got front wing damage or something else as we go for a darting move on the outside, but we've not got the downforce anymore. If that's the kind of downforce loss we've got with this floor damage, this may be race over, because that's the same as we had at Canada in Season 3, I think it was, remember, when we hit Leclerc with that airborne crash. You know, we struggled the whole race. We're going to continue on just to assess the pace we've got, but we've got no pace. Gasly's come in, so he's definitely got front wing damage off making contact with us, but I don't know for us, is this just the floor damage, or I wonder if we've also got, on top of the floor damage, we've also got front wing damage, because sometimes in this game, the heads-up display doesn't tell you that, your engineer doesn't tell you. I'm suspecting that this is also front wing damage, because this did not feel like, oh, it's just a floor, you know, slightly broken, because we've had that before. When we've had a slightly broken floor, it's been somewhat drivable. You know, in some places, it's a bit, you know, floaty mid-apex, and when tyre wear kicks in, it is a bit of a nightmare to handle, but it wasn't that bad, and there you go, confirmation. So not only did Gasly break our floor, he broke our front wing whilst also making that contact. And did the FI penalise him for any of that? No, they did not. I don't know what's going on. He's now ahead of us, ironically, on the hard compound tyre, so he felt like he couldn't go the distance on the mediums. I feel like we can, but there you go, permanent damage to the barge board and floor on that outer part of the heads-up display. You can see light lime green yellow, you would say, but you can see I'm okay now, bit floaty, like I said, mid-apex right there at turn 2, but it's nothing I can, you know, it's nothing I can't live with, basically. So here we go then, and we're actually catching up to Gasly and Schumacher as they're being held up by, I think the Haas, that is, and Matsushita. Schumacher on the right, Gasly on the left, 3 abreast. What a little move that is, as Gasly goes sailing around the outside. We go on the inside, narrowly avoid the Haas, and we make a double overtake to get up into P10. But that was actually a very slick overtake by Gasly, or the long way round. He could have easily been tapped by the Haas, but he made it work up into P9. But surely we should be able to catch up to him on the medium compound. We've got the DRS here. He does not. He's a sitting duck, and look how much we're gaining. We're gaining. ERS deployed all the way down this straight. Gasly is a sitting duck there, and we've closed the gap back up into turns 1 and 2. Can we try and set up the move? We've got a second bite of the cherry, a second DRS zone. We're going to go for it. I want to go for it. I want to show Gasly how I feel about what just happened there. We tap him on the right-hand side. The red mist has descended a little bit there. I'll put my hands up. I did that on purpose. I was very miffed in the cockpit. Little love tap for good measure whilst we overtake him. But the drama's not going to stop there, because on lap 23, Perez having issues with his tyre compound a little bit. Maybe some tyre wear on the Red Bull, going a bit wide and going off circuit. And for whatever reason, as the FI have called a safety car, I think someone else surely must have gone off. But I have no clue who went off here. I looked through the replay system and there was nothing. And also here, by the way, I was made to slow down and back into Gasly because of the delta time. I don't know what that's about. The FI has been a bit dodgy this race, I can't lie, with some of the decisions there. That delta time was definitely a bit dodgy, pushing me back into gas. It doesn't matter though, because we're under a full safety car. We've got Bottas back into the lead this Grand Prix, but I believe he's not actually pit yet. So for the second time, Bottas went round the final corner when the safety car got called out, and his team decided not to pit him. So I don't know what that's about. So Button surely will get back into the lead very easily, but Perez and Norris, they will be for position here. We need to overtake them to try and keep up with Button here and try and pull away from Gasly if we can. We're going to go for a move on Norris into turn 1 maybe. We've got the slipstream. Button going for a move for the lead. Can we overtake Perez as well? 2 cars for 1 as Button overtakes the Williams. We're going to try and join him by overtaking Perez here in the same sort of move on the inside up into P3. Button leads the way. He's got Bottas. We've got Perez, and Lando is now up into P4, and he's going to go around the outside. We go defensive, and whoa, big drift there, and you can see that's the floor damage. Mid-corner, just sometimes the car just snaps and just fails to grip up because it loses a bit of downforce and suction on the mid part of the car, and that was, well, you're seeing a clear sight of that with Norris gaining on us, but now Gasly's overtaken him, but there's a big spin for Schumacher. Schumacher's out, and there's a bit of a pile-up. There's a massive pile-up in the middle sector. Verstappen's out, the Alfa Romeo's out, Leclerc got caught up in that, Tsunoda as well. It is all kicked off in Sector 2, and it's all from another spinning Red Bull. It's another really unfortunate DNF for Mick Schumacher, but that could have easily been Perez earlier, by the way, because that was a very similar sort of spin, but Schumacher completely lost the rear end and caused a huge pile-up in Sector 2. At the moment, though, then, under another safety car, Button leads myself from Gasly. But this was the incident then. Schumacher loses it on the curb and then spins it. He goes out immediately because his tyre gets sheared off on the wall. But then look at this onboard there from the Ferrari. And then even worse for Giovinazzi. Oh, Giovinazzi creams into the rear of Leclerc, and then even worse for Verstappen because he decks into 2 cars there. Tsunoda, very lucky Tsunoda is, because he ghosted and did not DNF from that. So big pile up, another safety car here, and we're underway from it. Green. We've got 5 laps to go now. This Grand Prix's flown by. It's a 5-lap sprint. We're a 1-2 for our team. Can we get first place? We've got a broken floor, but we've got straight line speed. Doesn't matter in a straight line. Can we make the move on the outside though? We're cautious though because it's our teammate and we've got damage. We can't afford to half spin it into the side of him, and so we have to kind of let him go in a way. We can't really be too aggressive with a move, and it doesn't matter because we don't have the pace. Look at this. Oh my god. Narrowly catching the car and avoiding the wall. Button's 3 seconds ahead, and now that the tyre wear's kicked in on the mediums, and remember, like we've seen before, when you get floor damage, there's more incremental damage as you go on through a Grand Prix, so the car's felt worse and worse as we've gone on. So even if we had, you know, committed and made a move on Button, he would have overtaken us. He's 5 seconds up the road now. He's got so much better pace because I'm just limping, hobbling to the end. And now Gasly comes through to make a move. This is painful. This is annoying because Gasly was the man who put us in this situation, but we've got no grip into turn 1. We lock up and we barely make the corner. Gasly's up into P2. Leclerc and Perez are now behind me. Leclerc's got a 10-second penalty, though, from the incident in Sector 2, but Leclerc will go for it. We leave the door open and he really pounces. I was not expecting that. We took avoiding the effort there. I was going nice and easily into that right-hander because I don't have the grip for it. And then the Ferrari, I just saw it in the mirror, pounce down the inside. If I kept my turning angle, my original turning angle, that would have been a crash of some kind with the Ferrari there. So Leclerc trying his best to get up the order and pull a time gap, but he's got a 10-second penalty, so it's a bit futile. He will go well down the order, but one man who doesn't have a penalty is Hamilton, and he could look to try and overtake me here as we're now into the second last lap of the Grand Prix, limping through Sector 2 again, and just off this corner is so bad for me. And Hamilton on the outside, he's going for it. We lock up. We're trying to desperately slow down the car to not even make contact with him, let alone defend the position, but Hamilton forces his way through up into P4. And that will actually be a podium for Hamilton, remember, because of Leclerc's penalty. But the man of the hour is Jenson Button. He comes through. He's going to be the first ever repeat winner in Season 4. He won the first race of the season, and now he's waited till round 13 to win another race. He's the first repeat winner. Gasly, the championship leader, in second place. I think this means Button will retake the lead of the championship, maybe narrowly, and Gasly will remain ahead of me because we finished down in P5. It'll be P4 in the final results. Tsunoda so close to overtaking me on the soft compound tyre. That was a struggle. That was a real struggle, and it was all because of that flashpoint moment. Lap 19 was it, where Pierre Gasly hit me in a straight line.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So there goes Jenson Button taking the top step of the podium. He gets another win for our team and the second of his season. It's taken 12 rounds, but we finally got a repeat winner here in Season 4 of this My Team career mode. And to be fair, you got to say Button had the pace all weekend. He was on pole position, looked like he was the quickest of all, kept getting into the lead. That really quick move he made on myself and Gasly whilst we were tripping over each other was sublime, to be honest, into turn 1, and fair play to him. It's frustrating though, because I felt like we would have had the pace to maybe challenge him under that last safety car had it not been for the floor damage. You saw we were so slow at the end, and so we had to limp home. And now, like I said, Jenson does take the lead by 2 points to Gasly. We are now 9 points back from Button and the lead with only 3 rounds to go, and with how slowly, how small the point swings have been between myself and Button especially, and even Gasly as of late, we are very much on the back foot now, you would say, with 3 rounds to go. And we go to a track where I'm not great at, Sao Paulo. Not looking forward to it, to be honest. I think Button's going to be annoyingly very quick around there as well. We're going to have to really pull our socks up. In the constructors, AlphaTauri now are up into second place. McLaren displaced. Williams still P4, but McLaren finally slip away from second place. AlphaTauri showing some great consistency as of late, because even Tsunoda there, he got caught up in an accident and he still came home just behind me. So fair play to the team to get up into second place in the constructors. A very, very hectic 4th last round, and we've only got 3 more to go, and that includes one entirely new circuit, remember, at Jeddah. That's a completely unknown for Form Guide. I don't know who the hell is going to be quick around there, but it's mighty exciting. 3 rounds to go. Guys, if you did enjoy this one, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.